What up, people? It's Digital Pit Boss. As you know, I really ain't going live like that. Tired of bringing all this info for these nymphos, all these maniacs. But I got a quick one for you. You got to be up late night to keep up with me. So let's get it real quick. Let's start with the foolishness of the perspective of the so-called Black Power movement. In this episode, we got a clip from Boyce Watkins. Boyce Watkins, he doesn't believe in God. He has a PhD in finance. He speaks on the same individuals. He's a Sonetta Network individual. He put Yvette Cornell in the game. He's backing homosexuals. He's running with Umar. He got all these various different strings of what he calls his financial education. But there's a consistency with him and the many other. And since I'm already on the move with mine and my little small circle is slowly grinding, I can promise you that at the beginning of the year, 2018, will be a light years past the rest of y'all keeping up with these channels. Since y'all didn't believe me all year, since you didn't really decide I was your guy, let me give you this quick one.
Sort of your Black World News. A new report has warned that Black households are on track to hit zero median wealth by 2053, meaning that they will own nothing but their current income. The report, titled Road to Zero Wealth, was co-authored by the nonprofits Prosperity Now and the Institute for Policy Studies.
Okay, now remember that name she just said, Prosperity Now and the Institute of Studies. Just remember that real quick.
Predicts that it will take another 20 years for the Latino households to match the same level. The staggering wealth inequality between white and Black households is also predicted to widen. According to the study, in just under 4 years from now, median white households are projected to own 86 and 68 times more wealth than Black and Latino households, respectively. Between 1983 and 2013, the wealth median of Black and Latino households decreased by 75 and 50%, respectively, while white median household wealth rose by 46%. The study also emphasized that the current government policies have helped sustain the economic disparity. An earlier report published by the Corporation for Enterprise Development and the Institute for Policy Studies found that the average wealth of white families has grown by a whopping 84%, which is 3 times the rate of Black families and about 1.2 times the growth of Latino families.
Now, if you pay attention to what she's saying, this is classic doublespeak. We never get a true definition of what she means by wealth. She references income. She references that the only thing Black people will own is their income. Do you think that wealth is real estate? Do you think that wealth is how much profit you made on the stock? Let's finish her out real quick.
According to the study, if Black and Latino populations continue to grow at the same rate, it would take them at least 228 years and 84 years, respectively, to close the wealth gap. A June study by the Boston Consulting Group, a global management consulting firm, said that 70% of U.S. private wealth will be controlled by 1% of the population in 2021. Currently, 63% of the private wealth is controlled by 1%. So what do you think about?
Okay, so she reinstituted the doublespeak, and now she's calling it private wealth. She's going to close out. Let's finish that out.
This new study, and what can the Black community do to try to change these predictions? Please comment on the story and let us know what you think.
Now, her question is comment. Okay, I'll leave a comment. Okay, first she says that Latinos and blacks, if they continue to grow at the rate in which they're moving, that they'll close the wealth gap in 200 and something years. Now, this is the problem with the perspective that I found in the conscious community for my little short stay in it, is that they don't understand Booker T. Washington. They give him a little side note. What you need to understand is that the financial power black people exerted in this country happened between 1865 and about 1927, roughly a 50, 60-year time period. Black folks moved into the one of the most accelerated learning curves that human history has ever exemplified. But you won't get that out of these people. These people have a convoluted perspective. They decided that Pit Boss is not getting mentioned. Now, mind you, I have confronted just about all of them, from Sonetta to Boyce Watkins to Professor Smalls to Tommy Sotomayor to any one of these individuals. Pit Boss has definitely rung a bell in their ear. I confronted Phil Valentine on Facebook. I confronted Boyce Watkins. But my cup of tea is a little too strong than they can bear. While all at the same time, as I glance across their economic programs, they never quite identify what the black power is. Now, I clearly explain black power as economic control of your environment. Who can give a damn how much wealth, what she's calling wealth? We never understand, what is this wealth? What is this private wealth? What are these doublespeak terms that you have mentioned several times in a 2-minute video? This is the way that the conscious people speak. Now, mind you, if you take a look in history, let's examine Garvey, since everybody seems to love Garvey. Let's take a quick moment and think about Garvey. So what did Garvey do? He collected about 35 cents from about 4 million people on an annual regular basis. Now, when you add that up, that was millions of dollars over a period of time. And what did he do? Well, he established grocery stores, his dry cleaners, various things that was necessary for everyday life. Then he went on to start the Black Star Line and so forth and so forth. His next move was to go to Liberia, create a rubber company. Well, Firestone took over that idea. Now they're the rubber company in Liberia, and Liberia stays in conflict just so that those Liberians never have time to think that they're the rubber producing country of the world. This is why Firestone planted their feet there. So the entire Garvey movement was based on economics. But they would have you to believe the famous quote, let's go back to Africa, like that was the plan, like that was the economic control. That wasn't the economic control. Economic control wasn't based on going to Africa. But this is what you hear, the rhetoric spit out by these channels today. You got the Marcus Garvey movement in the eyes of Umar Johnson, who has eloquently integrated Frederick Douglass into a black power paradigm. No one's ever questioned it. Only Pit Boss. Nobody seems to understand, if you don't have the framework and the ideas of these men that you speak about. Let's take Boyce Watkins. He likes to point you towards, what is the brother's name? The Powernomics guy. Somebody give me his name. Who's that Powernomics? Why is his name skipping my mind? I can't remember. It's going to come to me, though, if somebody don't put it in the chat. But it's the Power Economics. Claude Anderson. Bingo. So Claude Anderson is the leading champion that Boyce Watkins seems to love, along with a few other Hollywood socialites. So he's running a campaign to sell his book. So now you got Nas and the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Truly miseducated. Now, Claude Anderson took a great step into making an attempt to explain where the wealth is. His major pool, reparations. Reparations will never be won in a courtroom. Barack Obama shut him down. Shut Claude Anderson and his idea of suing the government for reparations down. This was not the attempt of a Marcus Garvey. Now, mind you, I haven't even got the Booker T yet. If I get the Booker T, it's a wrap. I'm trying to stay away from it because it's just too powerful of a blow to institute into the ideas of the conscious community. Now, if you're just joining the show, you may have to go back to the beginning so you can understand the intro. As I break in with a short one, I'm not here too long. I'm no longer interested in what you guys want to do with this YouTube network that you constantly sweat work because you don't know how to network. I got private videos for the people that tuning in to me. I had a few people email me about the videos, but I had to deny many of them because I simply made it clear. You can't operate a team without the finance and support. So these particular videos that you do get to hear, that's just simply to spark your mind to try to figure out what the hell are they doing? Because by the time we show you what a calculated risk look like, it'll be too late for you. By the time you realize we're well over 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, $100,000 involved in our little bit of example of Black Power, by the time you realize that we already moving down the road with the business, you won't understand. Because if you haven't understood in 200 or 300 videos, then you'll never understand. Because I'm only going to say the same thing a little more in depth. And if you couldn't understand the lightweight, you're damn sure not going to understand the heavy. Now, I kind of got to force myself to do a video for you guys now, because I'm a little sick of you. I'm not interested in your chit chatter and your down likes and your trying to block my channel. I'd rather just watch you all bump into each other like go-karts, bumping cars. So if you can't understand that Black Power is economic control of your environment, Black Power is not how many millions does your community have. That's not power at all. That's not even wealth. Because if you have all the money with no control, you're just a rich slave that all he got to do is press the button and your money will come tumbling down. You got to have control. How do you get the control? How do you get control of your environment? where your environment is based on a fundamental knowledge, a very simple 4-letter word, STEM. If you haven't mastered the STEM or some aspect of it, you'll never gain control. This is how Black Wall Street was so effective. 95% of the population didn't have all the wealth, all the income. They didn't have just a conglomerate of various economic entities. What they had is a well-trained, organized community. They were working for an oil company by majority. And through that and policies put in place by the government to quarantine Black folks and quarantine white folks, their economics began to grow by way of building institutions in their environment, which naturally gives you control of your environment. This is an easy thing to understand when you're calculating your risk. Now, I've been quiet for a few days. I'm going to be quiet for a few more while I just watch how empty their vessels are. Why would you want to build a society that has no God value? Where would it go? What would you really do with it? You may say, I don't believe, but an entire group of people who doesn't have the God value. So you say, well, what's wrong with Ephi, Pitt boss? What's wrong with Yoruba? Why can't we use the ancient Kemetic system, Pitt boss? Why does it have to be a specific one? Because all systems were tried and tested over thousands of years. The conclusion and the moral to the story is that there is one level of consciousness that dominates, organizes, illustrates, and provides a strong community. You can hate it or love it, but you're going to have to deal with it. Our most successful attempt to gain control of our environment was a covert operation called the Underground Railroad. What made it so successful? It was building Black. It dealt with everybody. And it was covert. It wasn't broadcast on YouTube. It wasn't being text messaged back and forth. It wasn't a meeting. It wasn't a radio blog, radio network show. It was quiet, and quiet is kept, and only to be known by those who were involved. Everybody that is your color is not your kind. Everybody that is your kind is not your color. Everybody in the Underground Railroad was like-minded, regardless of color. The Underground Railroad, to be more specific, was a multinational operation. It was first introduced to Black people by Quakers. The first freed state in the country was Philadelphia. Big ups to everybody in Philadelphia. The Quaker state. How often will you ever hear of this in the conscious community? Never. Never, ever. Because what they do is misdirect information. They misdirect information because they have no need to empower you, because they are empowered by your confusion. They're profiting off your failure to understand what the truth looked like. I'm tired of giving it to you. Now, I'm not talking to the calculated risk takers that had moved in on what I had to say. See, there is always going to be a few among us who really just don't understand. Pit boss is going to let you fall in the fire. I'm going to let you lose. I'm not here for everybody. I ain't got time for everybody. So let's go back over these very, very fundamentals, since you can get this nowhere else. As I told you earlier, let's play the clip again. Let's listen to the doublespeak.
A new report has warned that Black households are on track to hit zero median wealth by 2053, meaning that they will own nothing but their current income. The report titled
Okay, so she said wealth or zero wealth will mean that they own nothing but their income. So they're establishing that income is not wealth, no matter how many billions you make. Now, if income is not wealth, then money in itself is not wealth. Therefore, what money buys that is establishing wealth, things such as gold, diamonds, those things are not wealth. And what could be wealth? See, this is what doublespeak does. It misdirects. If you operate and control the means of production that is the sustaining factor in a community, then you do not need outside of the community in order to sustain it, which in turn would be control of your environment. Wealth. Now, when are the people who are trying to establish consciousness going to deal with the greatest consciousness ever exerted in America, which was the Tuskegee machine? There is no Black people today, not even Oprah Winfrey, not a Bill Cosby, none of them. And I may even can include white folks. I have to really look at them, who can match up to the institution building of a Booker T. Washington. I have been so attacked for bringing two things, Booker T and the Bible. The Bible has a pattern of civilizations it done established, whether you like it or not. Ifa has not but Nigeria. Yoruba, I know not the paradigm it established. Atheism, I know not the country it has established. Confucianism and Buddhism is responsible for China's early development. We give that to Confucianism and Buddhism. Then they were conquered by Christianity. Christianity created an army in 1857, I believe, if I got my facts right, called the Heavenly Army, and attacked Confucianism and Buddhism being operated by the government. Let's go back a little further. Let's go back. I love to go back to that first century, where the idea, once again, was Roman mythology was the governmental paradigm that established Rome. And Greek mythology was the governmental paradigm that established Greece. And George G.M. James said both those systems were stolen legacies from Kemet. So we'll call it the Kemetic mythology established Kemet. Kemet held on to that mythology for thousands of years until the development of Greece, which then shut down Kemet and established the Greeks, the Ptolemies. And the Ptolemies conquered Jerusalem. Well, we'll say Alexandria conquered Jerusalem and then put it in the hands of the Ptolemies. And the Ptolemies had a problem on their hands called the Hebrew Israelites. This was a mannish group of people, according to the history, who just wouldn't get down with the function, couldn't stand the integration. Yeah, they was dealing with integration. So ultimately, in the first century, all those ideologies, the Kemetic system, the Greek system, the Roman system, atheism, Confucianism, Buddhism, everything was present in first century Alexandria, Egypt. Everything was present. Everybody had a shot to be the king. Now, if you overlook the conscious community and the bullshit they kick about what they like and what they don't like, and just get down to the facts, not to be trying to prove, is this a comic book? Did these people exist? Outside of all that bullshit, here's what remained. The Kemetics became Christians, got with the Hebrew Israelites who became Christians. Now you ask yourself, well, what do you mean became a Christian? One who followed Christ. Don't give me all that bullshit in the conscious community. Just keep it simple for the narrative to get on with the business. All you niggas standing around arguing all goddamn day over the same shit, wasting your goddamn time. You ain't got no more money than you had 9 months ago. The fuck wrong with you? Keep it simple. All of these paradigms in the first century got their ass kicked if they didn't switch and roll with that Christianity. So when you roll it up 2,000 years, it wasn't Ephi that came to the blacks in America. It wasn't Yoruba that came to the blacks in America. It wasn't atheism that came to the blacks in America. It wasn't none of that bullshit. It was the Bible. You can hate it. You can love it. That's what goddamn Harriet Tubman was talking about. That's what David Walker was talking about. That's what Nat Turner was talking about. That's what Frederick Douglass was talking about. That's what Booker T was talking about. Ida B. Wells, you name them, they was talking about it. And don't give me that bullshit, but that's all they had. They was forced to do it. Because now you falling for that same stupid shit that you've been doing in the conscious community for I don't know how many goddamn years, and you still broke as shit. You still over here arguing the goddamn Bible, arguing over this bullshit. You still ain't getting it. So let's break down the doublespeak. It is a language that pretends to communicate, but really doesn't. It is a language that makes the bad seem good and the negative appear positive, the unpleasant appear attractive or at least tolerable. Doublespeak is a language that avoids, shifts responsibility, A language that is at variance with its real or purported meaning. It is a language that conceals or pretends to or prevents thought. Rather than extend the thought, doublespeak will limit the thought. Doublespeak is not a matter of a subject and verbs agreeing. It is a matter of words and facts agreeing. Basic to doublespeak is incongruity. The incongruity between what is said or left unsaid and what really is. It is an incongruity between the word and the referent, between seems and be, between the essential function of language, communication, and what doublespeak does. It misleads, it distorts, it deceives, it inflates, it circumvents, it obfuscates. Doublespeak turns lies told by politicians, people in the conscious community, Negroes that are integrationists, all of these whack ass Negroes are double speaking. They never talk about it. They don't know what it is. They don't have one show breaking it down. They don't even own the book. This is where we're at. A bunch of niggas double speaking, fooling themselves. Now, who in the fuck is this nigga V. Clark and the guy? Who in the fuck are you, nigga? I'm not here playing no games with you niggas. What are you talking about, bro? Pit boss is nigga to the roof with you niggas, man. What is you in the goddamn room talking about? You give people too much credit. Let me keep on with this quick little message because I'm in a whole new year. My motherfucking hands is itching. God damn it, the money is coming. We so in the cut building some shit. We so in the motherfucking cut right now. I at least got 5 of them. Smashing. Money up. We don't plan to show it to you. We creating the underground economic railroad. It's going to be covert, in the dark operation. Y'all niggas in the black, motherfucker, we in the dark with a lamp light, creeping, slow, low key with it. Ain't got time. Ain't got time to play with you no more. It done got way too serious. Nigga, the code's coming. So we gonna put the codes in effect and we going covert with the operation. Ain't got no time to be just sitting on goddamn YouTube with a bunch of niggas who don't even respect the game. I can tell you niggas don't know what to talk about. I don't watch your videos anymore. I just read your titles. If your title don't make sense, god damn it, I already know that the video itself gonna be ignorant. You niggas is spending hours on dumb shit. These niggas still debating Kemet. While the rest of the world, nigga, they making moves. They orchestrating conglomerates around your goddamn dumbasses. They not tripping off what you talking about. They don't care what you believe. They building shit. They educating themselves on some real shit. You niggas is fools. You falling behind. Y'all still on Facebook posting white Jesus posts. You niggas in the Bible, you niggas that claim to love the Bible in the you some dumbass niggas. You some dumbass niggas. You niggas is wasting time standing on the goddamn corner talking all goddamn day about nothing with your outfits on. Nigga, ain't none of you niggas got no credit. You niggas is losing. You niggas that don't believe in the Bible, you comedic niggas, you niggas is pitiful. I know about you niggas. Y'all niggas is pitiful. Because you done forgot what love is. All you got is hate. You hate yourselves. You hate the Bible. You hate white Jesus. You hate every goddamn thing. You're just filled with hate. You don't even have a good day no more. You ain't built one goddamn temple around this bitch. Goddamn disaster struck and you niggas was nowhere with no assistance. None of you niggas got a STEM education. You niggas either don't got an education or you running around here with a history book looking stupid. You better get your game up. Find out which way the game's up and head that way. Pit boss. I'm on some other shit. Break it down simple to you. Technology is going to destroy you.